Good morning, LinkedIn friends, HubSpot Nation. Welcome to another episode of Let's Build AI Skills with Nico, George, and Chris. Happy Friday, the 13th,
Mm.
June 2025. How are we doing today, fellas?
Doing good. Doing good. Just about rested and relaxed. But yeah, otherwise doing good.
Yeah, I'm excited to sit here and listen to you guys probably unpack what your last couple days have looked like. Um, I don't know if I'm doing as good as I was a minute ago before you said Friday the 13th, but I'll deal with it. I'll deal with it.
Yeah, after I said that, I was like, I want to ask Claude about that. Like, if that makes any sense. The fact that we just like throw out there, like, oh, this is a bad luck day, everybody.
Right.
Just so
But
you know,
you know
like,
it's not.
What Claude
But
thinks about bad luck, is that it?
that would be that would be a fun conversation.
oh man. Speaking of humans always being in the loop, things like that will always be available to us.
Mm.
Yeah, we had some fun this week on Wednesday, going to the AI Summit
Yeah.
that HubSpot and AWS put on.
Got a nice
Uh,
nice little preview of San Francisco at least. I don't
yeah, this is
yeah.
like a test run for inbound in
Mhm.
September.
Nice. Nice.
um, at a nice warehouse venue that is usually for raves and concerts.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So yeah, had a little bit of that vibe coming
It's
in.
very industrial.
Yeah. Um,
We're talking about AI. Yeah, all right. That'd have been cool.
yeah, but key takeaways for me: speed, speed, speed.
Oh,
Um,
do
for
tell.
Yeah.
So it was HubSpot for HubSpot Ventures and designed for startups as the audience. Um, so a lot of conversation about how fast can you go? Like it means everything right now. Um, Another thing was ideation, the ability to have ideas to execute on.
Yep.
Yeah.
One word I didn't hear a lot was focus. Um,
Mm.
as much as that's always been a thing that every startup must try to do. Didn't hear a lot of that, which makes sense to me. Um, um, let's see what else. There's a great conversation about data and the importance
Mhm.
of that connected layer, meaning everything. Obviously, HubSpot uh, going to keep building in that direction in order to support that layer. I think more than anything else, that's their priority as we had Sagel on unboxing HubSpot MCP and the idea of HubSpot everywhere. Not that we will always be in HubSpot, but that HubSpot will always be around to capture data
Mm.
from wherever it is so that we can have context. I think context might have been the most commonly used word throughout the day.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and then AI first.
Mm.
Um,
Oh, God.
right? Like the message of the day, right after. So, I
Labor
was going in
meetings.
there expecting to not be surprised that really focused on AI and not the humans and not focused on, the things that have gotten way of SaaS, software adoption, I believe are going to get in the way of AI adoption as well. But the first two talks, Nicholas, in the opener and in the little discussion after that, like it was the main topic, or it was brought up and as a main point of the adoption issue being a primary challenge.
Mhm.
But then the rest of the day was, basically how to build an AI first company. And, could we, like SaaS marketers, like, could we have picked a faster way to alienate human beings, like that we're trying to bring up to speed here?
Yeah, it's funny when you say that, Chris. Literally, there was a post. Let's see, it would have been yesterday at 6:51 a.m. by one Mister Michael Stelzner, and his post goes, "There's a catchy phrase going around: AI first." I caught myself saying it, but I felt like something was off. Started wondering if there was a way to be optimistic about AI while also being human focused. The threat of AI is real, yet also I believe we can thrive with AI. What if instead we embrace this phrase, AI enhanced? I want to be an AI enhanced marketer, an AI enhanced creator, an AI enhanced entrepreneur. What would that make possible? When I enhance my gifts and skills with the aid of AI, lots of possibilities open up. I take my ideas further, up level my strategies, discover more insights, and unlock new levels of creativity. Tell me a marketer, creator, or entrepreneur who doesn't want that. We all do. It goes on. It goes on. I chime in as a comment. This is why, for the last 2 years, because by the way, like we've been doing this at some sort, shape, or fashion for 2 years. I've been saying human powered and AI assisted. It should always be human first, customer first. I'm a firm believer in augmenting ourselves and our teams over replacing them. To which Michael said, George, love it, fully agree. Like AI first needs to hit the trash can. Vibe
Yeah.
coding, vibe anything, and AI first. Can we just stop it? Okay, that's my input for this episode.
Yeah, I definitely don't like. I mean, you guys both know it. Like, I hate marketing terms getting thrown on this stuff.
Yep.
So I think AI first is probably the biggest piece of like BS I've
Beep.
heard in a really really long time. Um, and the whole idea, like vibe stuff, right? Yeah, like somebody to your point tried to like vibe prompting and vibe marketing, and it's like, okay, that was a word before the thing, right? So like you could have been doing that this whole time, so that's
Should
why
have
you
been.
shouldn't. Yeah, right. Yeah, like to your point, it's trying to throw a label on this stuff. What I really loved was uh what's Mike Mike Cannon from Atlassian. Sorry, important people's names, probably shouldn't forget. Um, had one of the greatest things to say, which was that they weren't concerned with being this like company that was all about, hey, flashy AI here, AI there, AI everywhere. It was just a matter of like, hey, that's internet, that's electricity, that's standard. Let's go forward. Right? Like, okay, that's the new norm. So we're using it. So let's move forward. Not like, hey, here's big billboard signs. We use AI over here too. Right? Like, we all know it's out. We all know it's a thing. Beating people over the head with it just shows, it literally screams to me that you just joined the game.
Yeah.
So when you run out there and you say, like, we're AI first, we're AI driven, that tells me that like you just woke up like 2 weeks ago.
It's funny because, and again, I'm the old fart on the show, but like to hear you talk, Nico, I feel like there are some people who are showing up with noise and nonsense to gain fake attention.
Mhm.
And then there's this saying that my dad used to tell me, and I never really understood it until like I got older. But he's like, a a a, a true person will walk quietly, but also carry a big stick.
Mhm.
Like use it when you need it, but shut the beep up. Like just
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah. You would have loved Mike's, like, that was a conversation with Mike and Yamini,
Mhm.
and he brought up the idea of joy over productivity.
Oh yes,
Yes.
Um,
yes.
and at Atlassian, said they talk about developer joy rather than developer productivity. Focus on removing what makes work unjoyful rather than
Mhm.
optimizing.
Yeah.
Um, and that AI should restore, professional joy by taking out all that was a light theme throughout the day. It's like most of the jobs, like the jobs that nobody likes,
Yep.
Yeah.
like let's use AI there.
The top
Um,
like the
but
top three
also,
things I would say I heard yesterday, and I don't want to cut you off on it, but was just like speed, velocity, momentum, however you want to define that. Like I guess joy is the right word to use. In that jobs should be joyful, not to try to do the alliteration there, but that's just the way that everybody seems to be looking at it. That hey, here's this chance to Mike put it the best way. He went in and said, okay, like what is it that you love to do about your job?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, now let's use AI to get rid of all the stuff you don't like to do about your job. Because we hired you to do the stuff that you love to do. We didn't hire you to do the stuff that you don't like to do. Like that's the era that we move into, right? And then the third thing, which I know Chris loved, so I know I cut you off, but I give you the bridge right back. Here's a crazy one for you guys. The org chart be a changing. Things are getting a little bit more horizontal, less pyramid like, and people are starting to, I don't know, move on and enjoy the entirety of their role.
Yeah.
As service department team members and as organization members, as opposed to like, no, you're stuck in your silo, you go do your bit and then you hand it off to so and so and they do their bit and you'll never see the end result of what your bits have done. That seems to be very much a bye-bye in the new world.
Chris, can I dip in here and then hand it off to you?
please.
Because like it brings me, and I'm using this word intentionally, it brings me great joy to hear that was part of the conversation, because as I've been prepping for inbound and I've been thinking about the 4 cornerstones and the pillars, it's funny because happiness is one of the H pillars. And whenever I connect passion and purpose and happiness, every output I get, everything that I'm learning, every research that I do points back to the word joy, which I love because that's such a rooted or core thing that we as humans need. And to see like AI and AI thought leaders pointing in that direction, to see the framework that we've been working on for like a year plus, pointing in that direction at certain pieces and parts of like marketing and just being an individual human and different things like that. Like, yes, like I would love augmented, joyful humans in the next 1 to 5 years instead of like depressed, out of work, like it's not a choice. Like there's only one right. Anyway, Chris, I'll hand
Because
it off to you.
because what do those humans do when they are augmented with AI that enables and handles everything they don't like doing, and they are joyful in their job?
They kill it.
They create value
Yeah. Oh, value first. Here we go.
for
Yeah.
others and
Yeah.
for themselves and for the organization. And at the end of the day, like it was so hard not to be that guy that just shouted loud, like in response to like in the middle of a talk, like, thank you. Mark Roberge, on a panel about what the disruption to SaaS looks like. And this is where at this point, like I had a whole chat with Claude going like about adoption issue and just recording some of the sessions. And as soon as that, like I think it only took like 1 or 2 times to hear the phrase AI first, to be like, oh man, this just made positioning value first a lot easier. But Mark Roberge said, I don't think we're putting enough weight on how to redefine our organization in an AI first way. Like everybody's talking about AI first. Nobody's talking about what it means like to reorg, right?
Hashtag
And like functional boundaries just disappearing, right? The need And this is where he gave the realest answers of the day. Every time it was like, if you're an existing company, how do you change? He's like, it's tough. I don't
Yep.
know how you do it. Like,
Yeah.
uh,
That's what I was telling Laura. That's what I was telling my wife yesterday. Is just that, like, the way that these guys, it's different. Like what I took away from this wasn't like, oh, crazy AI features. Oh, crazy AI company doing this. Oh, crazy AI team up here. No, what I took away was something I honestly didn't expect to have taken away from that, which was business. The way the org is shaped. It's not even that, like, the way the org does business, just the way the organization is structured is changing dramatically from a technology. Why? Why would a technology change the shape of an organization? We've never had that before. We've had so many different technologies, and they've never changed the shape of the organization. They've made it stronger, they've made it larger, they've changed the direction, but not the shape. How could you possibly change the shape? People on top know things that people on bottom don't know. So you couldn't possibly. Oh, oh, oh! This is an intelligence technology.
Oopsie.
Oh, oh! So everybody can know. Oh, oops! Oh no! It flattens out. It flattens out the org. Oh no! Oh no!
yeah.
That's what's new.
And
That's the new business. That's what business looks like now. It looks like we're all in it together.
So it's interesting that you're saying this, because this also goes to another thing that I've been hearing, and again, it excites me. Um, but this idea and the concept has been around, but like an organization of one. It is now easier than ever before to become an organization of one. And you're hearing like, when will be the first, $1 billion one person organization? Like,
Coming very soon.
coming very soon to a place near you, trust me, because like the for those that have had any type of educational gap, or wish they could have like an ops person, or wish they could have a social person, or wish they could have a, like, they can become an organization of one, empowered by many. I'll leave it lay there.
yeah. And the leader of Clay, whose name I don't remember right now.
Hold on.
We'll pull that up. But he talked about the GTM engineering, like,
It was a
concept
V.
and role. And while that was a word, that was a phrase I wasn't
Varun.
appreciating. Arun?
Varun. Yeah.
From Clay. As he explained it, it made a lot more sense. Where they weren't bringing in salespeople to do sales. They were bringing in people that knew the customers, knew the market, like had the capability to move quickly, like all these skills. Where you create just full funnel. That's how we get to the customer facing team, like across the board, right? It doesn't necessarily matter you don't need the marketing specific, sales specific, service specific. Like, that experience doesn't matter anymore. And there were other, people that said that, like, it doesn't matter how much experience you have. Like, if it hasn't touched AI, like, you're on the same level as people
Yep.
that are just starting, right? And in reality, you're probably behind them, because you got to unpack all the stuff you've learned about how things are supposed to be. So that talk about like GTM engineering and how you can bring in, just high quality talent, in the ways that they were describing it. And that's like people with agency, people that can ideate and act on things, quickly. Like, that came up over and over, like the agility, the ability to make quick decisions, right? Which, it's hard not to be, try not to be too biased and see like everything as an indicator that value first is going to be successful. But man, this day, because out of all this, like, and this is where like the AI first mentality, like I get it. It's they're doing it so they can build like in an AI first way, like with AI as a priority
Hmm.
is what that phrase means, right?
Right.
Like use AI whenever possible.
Right.
But they still talk about humans in the loop and great people are going to drive organizations forward. Customers don't care if it was created by AI or a human, as
Nope.
long as it's valuable
Yep.
for them.
Yep.
Yep.
Like they appreciate value. And that was in every single conversation. Like, you know, because that's always been the case. Like, how do you create value for the customers? Find the way to do that. And that's how you build successful companies.
Mhm.
So, yeah, AI first, human first, just like you gotta get that stuff out of the window, um, because it's all about the value.
Yeah.
And George, I was gonna, you already kind of alluded to it, but what makes value, what makes creating value easier, and what makes speed easier? There's 4 words that I'm thinking of. Uh,
Purpose, passion, persistence, and love of the thing that you're trying to. Yeah, the four cornerstones of the superhuman framework. Without a doubt, which is interesting because again, we're all kind of aligning into this like possible future where the superhuman framework becomes really important in the next 1 to 5 years, maybe even 10 years. Value first is important right now, has been for years, but if you're not focused on it over the 1 to 5 years, yet like you're just going to get torched and left behind. But Chris, I got to circle back around to something you said because my brain went, "Ooh, I've heard this and I agreed with something and I need to say it." You said the word action. And I wanted to say in the last little bit that I said, like it's going to be for those who take action upon the thing that they've now enabled themselves to do as an organization of one. But I'll never forget this Gary Vaynerchuk or Gary V video where he's like, "I put out all my ideas on the internet because I know almost none of you will take action." And I know if you've been in the ecosystem, you're probably transported right back to the video where he said that. And here's a true fact: the world is at your fingertips and you will still choose to go Netflix and chill tonight. You have ideas when you're in the shower, but you'll let them rinse down the drain. We are moving into a world where ideas are power and action is the profit. I'm I'm just gonna leave that laid there.
No, it's like the one thing that is more true about this technology than anything is just that you can now take what you've got in your head and turn it into reality very, very quickly
Yeah.
and so much easier than you could have ever thought that it would be, to be
Yeah.
honest. And
I have sorry, Nico. I
no,
have two examples. I'm gonna share it inbound where the idea became the magic for the thing that was created. I have one article, you can search it, where I correlate life and marketing to Tron Legacy. Okay. I've got another article, a piece of content, and we're talking like pillar page length, like 5, 7, 8,000 words, off of the idea of salt of the earth. I was listening to a sermon. A guy talked about salt of the earth. I said, where the frick did that come from? Where did that saying come from? I did research, loved the concept, spun it around with the idea to point it towards marketing and the superhuman framework. And before I knew it, we had 5, 7, 8,000 words around salt of the earth marketing. Ideas plus action equal potential and profit and whatever other P word that I can think to put it. Like, I just want to shake some people. But it was human first. It was the idea first. Right? It was human powered because there was a process that we then put it through. Anyway, I'm sharing those two examples because like everybody wants to talk about like what's the hook? No, what's the idea?
right.
That's
yeah.
where we got to get to.
Yeah, it was the same as like people talking about what's their moat,
Yep.
right? And that was one of the during the last talk with Mark and uh Amjad and Gia. um they're just like a lot of or Jai, I'm sorry, Jai Lee from LiveX, like just a lot of really great people were there. Who was so awesome, by the way. I talked to her for like just a minute and a half, and she's just very much the coolest person in the world and extremely humble, probably the just very so I don't know, just very cool human being. And the one of the things that they talked about was just that fact with like can't uh you can't hide anymore, right? For one thing,
Mhm.
it's
Mhm.
very difficult to like sit back and do nothing because things are moving so quickly that anybody that might even remotely have the same idea is going to be ahead, right? I think the thing that I love the most is the validation of something I've been saying for like 2.5 years now, which is if you ain't first, you're last. That is hands down the mantra that these people live by. That especially Mike from Atlassian, it's like we're not trying to be the best at something. We're trying to be the fastest. We're trying to be the first, right?
And I hope, because I know we're like basically at time, but I hope it's that we're trying to be at first, so then because of that we can be at
Right,
best. You,
right.
Yeah.
you see what I'm saying? Like there has to be that addition. Like I don't want to leave people watching or listening to this like it's first and then just screw it. We're done. No, no, no. It's be first to then become best.
Right.
Right.
Because that's where the speed and velocity is the moat
Mhm.
now, right? And Amjad, the way he said it, the leader at Replit, um, like when you decide, it was a great exchange between him and Mark Roberge because Mark was
Yeah.
having a tough time about like without like he likes moats. Like most
Mhm.
investors want to understand the moat, right? And what Amjad said is like when you decide what your moat's gonna be,
So,
it restricts innovation
Mm,
because you just lean into that and you don't just keep like blasting forward. Um, and so yeah, being first also like has to mean like staying ahead and keeping that speed. And if you don't, you will fall behind, very quickly. And yeah, just a real key message from the whole day. And uh, just shout out to the HubSpot team. Uh, it was a great event, and definitely appreciate getting the opportunity to go. Um, Thanks to Gabrielle Herrera
yep.
for allowing that to happen. And yeah, so HubSpot, and if you're there, it's like there was no breaks, like hardly at all.
No.
So it was like,
No.
oh, all right, they're trying to match the speed of AI here. By just like no break, break, break. Uh, so it was just it was a insightful day. I think for us, we're in a unique position where we're not in a startup, we're not trying to raise money, so we get to look at it through a different lens.
yeah.
And it's just really insightful to understand, even though we're not startups, how it's being talked about,
Mhm.
Yeah.
right? Because then when we go and talk to clients and people that are looking for help, we know what they're hearing so that we can kind of like, help them understand all the noise. But yeah, uh, we are at time, and that's
Yeah.
where we got to wrap it for today.
Chris, good luck,
But
by the way. Good luck
what?
tagging everybody that we've mentioned in this episode into the social post.
Right.
You share this. Good luck. You
Yeah,
might listen back to it 2 or 3 times. We have mentioned a lot of great humans. And so I just want to say thanks to all the great humans who have enabled this conversation that we had this morning.
yes, sir. And until next time, folks, have a wonderful weekend.